Definitely seems like you guys, don't take yourselves too seriously.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Literary Lushes with your hosts, Samantha
and Megan.
And Megan just finished swallowing some Cheez-Its. Excellent. And today we are talking about the book Into the Crooked Place by Alexandra Christo. For those of you watching on Patreon, thank you for supporting us. And you could see the kick-ass book cover.
Okay, not only is the book cover pretty awesome, this is going to sound weird, but the spine is pretty cool. Anyways.
And if you're watching, you could see our dark lipstick inspired by Tavia and my really messy braid.
I just made my hair messy. I just imagine this is what it would look like after fighting.
If your hair looks like that after fighting in the death, you're going to look pretty good.
I know, right?
I'll probably be
no, it'll be oily and like stuck to my face and anyways. So what are we supposed to talk about the book?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do a synopsis, though.
And we're going to talk about the drink, which...
Oh, yeah. First, we should do the drink.
We're pretty certain is called Loy.
Loy.
Loy?
Loy?
Loy? Is that like a seal? Loy? Loy? Loy?
Poor Alexandra, the author, is probably like, what are they doing? These American girls are butchering the shit out of my words.
We have a tremendous handle on the English language. We only use the best words.
If you're just now joining in to Literary Lushes, welcome. I cannot pronounce anything to save my life.
I'm usually pretty good.
I'm horrible. So.
Yeah. So the drink is it's spelled Loj. According to Google, it's pronounced Loy, not Lodge, as we...
And it's a purple potion.
Yes.
Do they call it a potion or do they call it like a...
It's an
magic?
elixir.
They call it magic.
It's based on the magic elixir in the book. And it's our take on a mojito, and it's delicious.
We used rum mocktail because I'm pregnant and Samantha is still doing... When are you done with that challenge? Because I feel like our fans love when you drink.
Well, I think I'm like pretty funny even when I'm not drinking. But as of the date of recording, I'm on day 36 of 75. It ends like mid-March.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. We're halfway there.
Well, anyways.
Anyways, and it sparkles and it's super pretty and it's pretty tasty. So check it out.
Yeah. We had too much fun taking pictures with all the swirlies.
We also drank potions, so that was really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So the drink in the book, which is a potion, makes people have control over your mind, or makes the kingpin have control over your mind. And also makes you like go like crazy ape shit against even your friends and like go on a killing spree. And
because the kingpin just basically wants to rule the world. And so this elixir basically allows him to infiltrate the people's minds and turn them into unwilling army, because it was marketed as a happiness elixir, but and like who wouldn't want that? But boy,
it is not bringing any happiness.
I mean, for him, maybe. Kingpin, but like nobody else.
Yeah. Did you want to do a quick synopsis or?
Sure.
Because I feel like if I start doing a synopsis, it's going to take like 20 minutes for me to explain.
Okay. So this book takes place in an alternate reality where there are 4 different realms. Each realm basically has like their equivalent of a governor, who's called, I think, the Doyen.
Mm-hmm.
The Doyen. And then, as all cities have, there is the underground politics. So each city,
gangsters.
Yeah, each realm is run by an underboss who reports to the kingpin, Ashwood, who turns out to be a not so nice guy, obviously.
So it's like your Sith Lord and your Sith apprentice,
mm-hmm.
but you can have more than 2.
Mm-hmm. And our particular city is run by this kid named Wesley.
The crooked.
He's only like 16 or 17. He rose to power pretty quickly.
I think he's supposed to be 18.
Is he 18?
And she is 17 and has like 6 months left
That's
until
right.
she's 18.
And
so they're like adults, but
they're still
barely
young. And one of the other main characters' names is Tavia, and she is an orphan. And orphans in this particular city become buskers, where they sell cheap magic tricks to tourists.
So they're basically your drug dealers.
They're basically like the
dealers.
scams you see at like fairs and stuff.
Yeah. Like selling like magic.
Yeah.
I imagine this as a very gangster, mob boss, drug pushing kind of esque feel.
I imagined like a Renaissance fair.
Well, yeah, but
by day.
It switches.
By day. And then at night, it's like Renaissance fair, but when like all the carnies come out.
Got you.
Mm-hmm. Like that kind of vibe.
Okay.
The other couple characters we have Saxony, who is Tavia's friend, and her love interest / Wesley's bodyguard, Karam.
Is that how I said it? Karam?
That's how I said it.
Karam?
Yeah, that's how I said it.
Okay.
How'd you say it? Karam? Karen?
You know me. I probably just called it Car.
It's her name is Karam, so I said Karam.
Okay.
Alexandra.
I'm so excited about her. I'm so excited about the person I casted for her.
So yeah, and basically, once they find out what this elixir is doing, they join forces, try to put their differences aside, and go to take down
the
King Dick. Yeah.
And so in this magical world, magic cannot be created. It's just repurposed.
It's like matter.
And
science.
There once was a time you could create magic, but you had to be a crafter. And the world believes that there's no more crafters.
Because there was a war.
And spoiler alerts, there are crafters.
But they're hiding.
They're hiding. But that's how all this comes about.
Yeah.
Because Kingpin has crafters, and he's planning on using them to make magic, which he makes the
naughty boy.
Which is how he made the new magic, and how he plans on taking over everybody's stuff is with this new crafters stuff.
Yes.
So I'm ready to dive in. If you are, let me take another sip.
So I like the idea of how Alexandra handled the magic in here, and how it wasn't just like, oh, everybody has it. It's like either you were born with it and you're a crafter, or you could become a busker and you could kind of learn how to
wield it
and not manufacture, but manufactured in a way that's usable for other people. So I thought that was really interesting. And I thought the crafter kins, and how they were very, I guess understandably so, like secretive.
Yeah.
Was kind of cool. Almost cult-ish in some parts. But again, I guess that makes sense if you like are in hiding for your life. One of the things I found kind of hilarious was, I
found a lot of things hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But one of the things I laughed pretty hard about was Saxony works at the bar.
Yes.
The crook.
Yeah.
And
she goes by
Brandy. And then there was like a line that was like,
she's glad you're not Bloody Mary.
No, it was like, good thing house wine was already taken or something like that. And then later it was like, yeah, thank goodness she didn't call herself
Bloody Mary.
I was like, oh, I see.
It was funny.
There was a lot of back and forth, the love-hate relationships. Basically, every character had a love-hate relationship with every other character, which I thought was funny, but also pretty realistic.
Oh, so I said it's kind of off topic, but every time Wesley touches his cufflinks, you can totally make that a drinking game.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you read the book in one sitting. You can get drunk on how many times he touches his cufflinks.
And if it ever turns into a TV show.
And yes. And I thought it was interesting why he touched his cufflinks.
Yeah, because she would put in the narrative him touching the cufflinks.
Straightening them, polishing
and you didn't find out why until later. And then when you find out why, you're like, oh, and then every time he does it, you're like, oh, poor thing. I did find it humorous when she was like, oh, he wears a bow tie on the odd days. And I thought it meant
like every other day.
Yeah.
I did
but
too
nope,
at first.
Nope. It means he was wearing
It's like
a bow tie.
Alice in Wonderland odd.
Yep. If it's going to be a peculiar kind of day. And I wish I had that kind of foresight. Because then I'd probably just stay in bed.
I don't know if I can find it. Anyways, but yes, there's a lot of bit of funny, like little funnies going back and forth that they had.
Yeah, like the back and forth with their relationships, like Wesley and Tavia, because they grew up together. They used to be super close, and he becomes the underboss, and so she's like kind of scorned and left behind. But their one-offs with each other were like hysterical.
Yeah, their flirtatious was really cute. I liked it.
It was realistic to me.
Yeah.
See, I like realistic. Let me rephrase. I don't mind realistic romantic exchanges like that.
That was really nice. I liked that. I thought that gave him more of you felt more for him?
You
because of that?
Sympathized with him? Yeah.
There's the word, sympathize.
He's not just like a big bad underboss.
Yeah.
He has whatever.
I can't wait to tell you who I picked for him.
Okay. Speaking of Wesley, I wanted to talk about, this is kind of a deep topic. Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready for deep. I know. I feel like we're just very superficial lately with a lot of our conversations. So I'm ready to dive into some deep.
It's like, oh my God, like I really like this. And I really
I like this.
And it was
was great part.
It was Megan-tastic and it was sensational.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Wesley's perception of himself versus his reputation.
Ooh.
Right? Because when you get to the chapters where it's from his point of view, he feels like he's insane. He's second guessing himself. He doesn't want to show too much emotion. But then, like, he puts on this front that he's this carefree short guy. And then he
thinks he's more well-known than he is.
And he kept saying, like, oh, I see my reputation precedes me.
No, you just look like a
douchebag, basically. Yeah. But it, like, never, I mean, he cracks every once in a while, but not really. Right. So, any insight on that, Megan?
Well, okay, so this is where spoilers are going to come into. So I kind of knew, and I think I even wrote in somewhere in one of my things, it says, I kind of saw it coming when they were talking about the voice in his head.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it was
Zekia.
Yeah, I called her Z. I knew it was her.
I figured as much too.
I think I got to a halfway point and I was like, I think it's her. And I thought it was interesting how he came into power and why he came into power. And then you find out later, again, spoiler, that he was originally a crafter and they put spells so he would forget and that everyone around him wouldn't recognize him as one. And then...
So, but so basically he came into power because none of it was by chance.
Right.
But do you think, it could go either way, do you think they were the ones who did the blood magic to protect him? Or do you think it was his original family?
I think it might have been his original family.
I think maybe.
I think his original family was like, whoa, this guy is too powerful. We cannot have this, but we also don't want to kill him. Mm-hmm. And then a part of me also wondered if it was her brother that supposedly died in the fire.
Oh, there was something weird. Saxony's brother.
Yes. And what if he didn't actually die? And to keep him safe, the
only thing with that is because he was a couple years younger than Saxony, and I don't remember, was Saxony older than them?
I thought that but Saxony was older than her brother.
So. Was she older than Wesley?
I think so.
Then maybe. That's a sneaky thinking because there is something about that because...
And then that's how their connection was so
Spoiler alert, when they're showing their regrets and she was like, oh, my regret is that like I didn't do anything. And then she goes up to the window to see what happens. And it's like her mom and I guess her brother are crying and her grandma's in the room crying too. It's like they know it's going to happen. So something.
And it might have been that they knew in order to save the world one day, they had to hide him so that he could come back later. But he couldn't know because if he knew, kind of like the Avengers movies, like with Doctor Strange, like this is the only way it can be done and I can't tell you what happens. And it's kind of like
Zekia would know, and maybe that's why she was trying to put him on a different path.
Maybe. That's what I'm wondering. And that's why she wouldn't kill him either.
Well, yeah, because I mean, he's also a very important piece for them.
Yeah. But that was my wondering if that's where that's going. It could completely not be going that way.
I mean, good thing we don't have to wait too long because the sequel is coming out March 9th, and yours truly got early copies, so we can actually talk to
but we haven't read
Alexandra
it
about
yet.
it. Yeah,
I definitely made sure not to read it before we did this because I didn't want to slip.
Yeah, no.
But that was my thinking. I think he was inherently good. I think he was put into situations and where he tried to make a lot of bad things good.
Oh yeah.
He even
had his morals when he was like, you know, he only killed like 11 people, but he wasn't about to tell anybody that.
Yeah.
You know. He fell for the guy.
Then I wanted to ask you, or we're not done.
No, go ahead.
There was a quote, and this was I try to find thought-provoking stuff this time around.
Because we're deep AF.
There are no good people, just ones who haven't made bad choices yet.
Oh, yeah. That was the Kingpin, right? Who said that?
No, Wesley.
Wesley said that to Tavia.
Yep. And I was like, I wonder if you agree or disagree with that quote. There are no good people, just ones who haven't made bad choices yet.
I think people are inherently good. I think so. And then I think you become a product of your environment. So I think my quote would be, there are no bad people, just people who haven't made a bad choice yet, kind of. You know, you just kind of flip it on your head. Like, everybody, I think, is inherently good, and then you just kind of do what you have to do. I mean, some people are dickheads, but that's because...
I think because of the way he grew up and everything he saw, he didn't see any good people. No. And if he did, and if, what's it saying? Like, and if you stay in this business long enough, you'll see the people turn into villains or something like that.
Oh yeah.
If something like they either die or turn into villains, something like that. But anyways,
so and he doesn't have any family.
Yeah.
Or friends.
The only family he had was the Kingpin
and Tavia before he became underboss.
Yeah. But like everything he saw, he was just like, no. So I kind of understood what he was saying. And it's also one of those things like there are no good people, because if you put them in any situation that he was put in or other people, they would have done the same exact bad choices.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. That's what I mean. You're a product of your environment. So, you know, if he had grown up like in one of the other realms, like away from all that shit, he probably...
And then you can see where he kept getting the same thoughts, like the same beliefs instilled in him when he killed his first underboss
and took his place,
and the Kingpin took his place, and he got to become a upper level
upper management.
Yes, he said that's how street kids became street kings. How buskers become underbosses. It was the only way to survive in a realm hungry enough to swallow the weak whole. And he trust no one, betray everyone.
I mean,
which
even
is
Tavia.
A super sad way to live. Trust no one, betray everyone. And it says kill or be killed always.
Tavia had a similar outlook, but both of them still
had a spot for each other.
A moral compass, because even though they have
broke my heart when what's her face made him think that he was seeing Tavia and they were running away.
Oh, Zekia, yeah.
It broke my heart.
I knew it too.
I did too.
She was like, "Who do you want me to be?" And then all of a sudden it was Tavia, and I'm like, "This is too convenient."
Yep.
But so he has a moral compass because he hates Saxony, right? But Karam is his bodyguard. Tavia is his friend. He doesn't welcome her with open arms, but he welcomes her. He, breaks her out. He says it's for his own assets, but it's not, And then same with Tavia, like she's friends with Saxony. She has this love-hate relationship with Wesley. And she kind of...
Which is kind of very sibling-like.
Well, they're dating at the end, kind of.
No, I'm talking about Wesley and...
Saxony.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about... Wesley and Tavia.
Oh, I was talking about Wesley and...
They have a love-hate relationship, and then she has this like very funny friendship with Karam.
Yep.
where it's like, there was like one point in the book where Karen was like, yeah, even Tavia looked like something 1 out of every 4 times that Karen looked at her or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's pretty funny.
I think Wesley was my favorite character. Him and
I say Karen.
Okay, her.
I could be wrong.
Those were the two. I think those are the two were my absolute favorite. And perfect segue. I wrote, why are there always riddles in books?
Words.
So many riddles. And like they even get mad. Who was it? Saxony was getting fucking pissed. She's like, she's like, stop talking in riddles. And I'm like, I feel like that would be me, like, bitch, just tell me. Don't put the shit in riddles. Just fucking tell me. And they all through the whole book riddle. I mean, I get it. It's the whole point of a book. But I'm just imagining in real life, I would fucking.
It's like in the movies when it's like, I only have a couple minutes to tell you what's happening because my phone battery is going to die. And just in case it dies, I just want to let you know that my phone battery is going to die. So the really important piece of information that I have to tell. And I'm like, you literally
just start out with the fucking information.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a plot point. Speaking of Saxony, she is a complicated character because you find out not only was she the one sending the bats to let people knew where they were, but she also like was consistent. I mean, yeah, she kept the fact that she's, spoiler alert, a crafter, but that makes sense. But she lied about what happened to her when Arjun's village was attacked, and she didn't tell anybody that her grandma like transported her to this like other realm. And then she lied about her deepest regret.
She was not my favorite character.
So I feel like
in the second book, if there's ever going to be a villain other than the Kingpin and stuff, I think it's going to be her. What's that one riddle? Shit, I should have wrote it. And it says the big riddle.
The one in the beginning from the orb? Yep. Time will be carried in strange hands across the realms and through stranger lands. What is done will be undone. A battle lost is a battle won. When midnight rings on a child's betrayal, your every success is doomed to fail. So time will be carried in strange hands.
Which is the
time bombs. Okay. Across the realms and through stranger lands.
Got it.
Okay. What is done will be undone. So I guess them trying to undo the elixir and everything.
See, and I was thinking of as Wesley, his memory wipe. Or like him being a crafter.
But then the last line, it says because it says, so what is done will be undone. A battle lost is a battle won. So they actually lost technically the battle because he got away.
But the thing that
when midnight rings on a child's betrayal, which is Wesley's betrayal of the Kingpin, your every success is doomed to fail. So if it's for Wesley, then everything he's going to try to do is going to fail.
But they didn't say it was for Wesley because what's her face?
But that you just said it was for. You thought it was for Wesley.
But I'm talking about the what is done will be undone.
Oh, I thought you meant the whole riddle. I'm like, okay.
Him hiding that he's a crafter was done,
and it's undone.
A
battle lost is a battle won,
and it's in chronological order too.
When midnight ring, they lost the battle, I guess. I guess the battle lost. They didn't really fight anywhere else, though. Then when midnight rings on a child's betrayal, that's Wesley betraying the Kingpin.
Is it?
Because remember, he was saying like they had to give the signal for the time bombs, and he happened to look at the clock, and he heard that line of the riddle, and he was like, "Oh, we have to wait till like midnight."
Yeah. Okay.
Your every success is doomed to fail. Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Into the Crooked Place lands on a cliffhanger.
Yes.
The sequel comes out March 9th.
Yes.
We are reading that.
Yes.
And we will have author Alexandra Christo. Really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. She will be on with us during the next podcast for City of Spells.
Yes. So we will be interviewing Alexandra Christo about her sequel to Into the Crooked Place called City of Spells. That book comes out March 9th, and that episode is going to be going up April 1st. It is not an April Fool's joke. Hey, everybody. Today's author spotlight segment, or ASS segment, as we endearingly call it, we have the author with us today, Matt Dick, who is the author of the sci-fi novel Seed. Welcome, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. We really appreciate it.
No problem at all. No, really appreciate it.
And you are our official first ass of 2021.
Oh, there you go. Good.
So tell us a little bit about your book, Seed.
Yeah, so it is my first sci-fi novel. I am a full-time professional engineer right now. And so I wrote this mainly as a hobby to do something other than be stressed out about work stuff. And
That's
so,
why we do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Like I think it's really good to have something to think about other than work stuff. So this was my outlet and it worked pretty good.
What gave you the idea to write this, a sci-fi?
Yeah, always been a big sci-fi fan. And at the time when I was generating the idea, I was doing a lot of driving for work. So I get a lot of windshield time and I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And I started with the main idea and then this kind of built around that and then ended up writing a lot of it while on work travel too. So about half of the book I wrote on airplanes.
Oh, nice. That's
always
nice.
trying to fill that time with something more useful than getting drunk on the airplane or
Panicking
movies.
like I do.
Yeah.
Or both. So for our listeners who may not have read the book yet, can you give us a quick synopsis of it?
Yep, absolutely. So the book starts out with a main character named Nick Burke, and he is a planetary colonization engineer, and he's trying to kickstart the first sustainable colony on Mars, and they're having a lot of problems. And so it definitely has some parallels to The Martian when it starts out in the book, but ultimately the whole plan fails. There's just too many problems with Mars and it doesn't pan out. A sideline aspect of the story is the main character, his dad got him signed up to a subscription service when he was just a kid, which what it would do is it would record everything he saw and heard and said, and just uploaded that into the cloud with the idea that someday, after a lifetime of recording that, they could replicate his consciousness with that.
Very cool.
For the purpose of, living forever kind of thing. But when he's making the return trip home from Mars, he has this epiphany of, well, why don't I just compile my consciousness now, go put it on a spaceship and shoot it across the galaxy. So it kind of has that opening parallel to Dennis C. Taylor's We Are Bob, We Are Legion.
Which we love the Bobaverse
yes.
too. So
Yep, I love the Bobaverse, a big inspiration, definitely. And so that's what he does. So he gets home, he talks to his boss, the company he was working with goes under, they start up a new startup company, get all these billionaire investors with the idea of taking his recorded consciousness, put it into a robot, get some basically frozen embryo humans and seeds and turn it into a seed ship and literally shoot it off to some exoplanet 2,000 light years away.
very cool.
And then
Insert title plug.
Yeah.
I was like, see, I get it.
Like, oh, he said the name of the book in the description.
I'm extra slow these days. Pregnancy brain is a legit thing. And so when you said, I'm like, oh, okay.
It's all coming together.
Sorry. I totally interrupted you. Please go ahead.
No. So yeah, and so when he lands on the planet, that's where the book really starts. And so he spends the entirety of the rest of the book building his civilization from scratch. Of course, runs into a lot of problems. And I really intended it to be as scientifically accurate as possible. So I really tried to ingest in as much or include as much STEM related things and science and engineering and medical things as possible to try to tell the story as real life as I could.
That's exciting.
So Matt, I know you said you're an engineer, and I always, not that I am super scientifically minded, but I do appreciate when shows and books and stuff are as realistic as possible. Did you have to do a lot of research to make sure your story matched up with reality?
Most of it I knew right off the top of my head, but there was one area where I actually had to do some research, which was how do you get a robot to be powered for that long?
Oh yeah.
And so I'll give you the geek out explanation here. So what a lot of the Mars rovers use is a little chunk of radioactive material, and then it's called a thermoelectric generator. Basically, it takes heat and converts that to electricity. And so it's great. There's no moving parts, and it basically lasts a long time. But the lesson I had to go through is what material to use, because what they use on the Mars rovers only lasts for, I think, like 10 years or something. And I needed something that would last like 5,000 years.
Right.
So I had to do a lot of research. I actually connected up with a nuclear engineer off of Reddit, and he helped me understand the details of it, because I just wasn't familiar enough with it to accurately say what it can and can't do. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
Reddit bringing the world together. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. You mean it's not just for making jokes,
right? I know. Upvoting? Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Reddit was actually pretty useful to me while I was writing this book. Like, I definitely a lot of writing tips and a lot of publishing tips and that sort of stuff. I also found some people on there that focus on survival, like being out in the woods and things like that. And so I incorporated some of that as well into the book. When he first lands on this new planet, it has to start from literally nothing. So yeah, it was good.
I don't even know where I would begin.
Oh, really? I was like, isn't that up your alley? Don't you have a book that says something about like surviving shit?
Yeah, my fiance is I call him like a doomsday prepper on a budget. He likes to he's all into that survival, and we watch that show Alone. So yeah, you need shelter, food, and water. Those are the first three things. But if you're a robot,
well, you probably still need shelter.
Yeah, but you don't need food and water, just power.
Yeah, he that's actually the first things he does in anticipation of his people that are going to be born soon. And he actually, the first animals that he grows are goats. And so he's got to grow crops for the goats, and he's got to get water and all that sort of stuff. So
that's really cool. And I know you mentioned Andy Weir's The Martian, and you mentioned Dennis E. Taylor's Bobiverse. Were there any other books that inspired you that you were listening to on your way to work?
Ready Player One was definitely good. That's kind of a different direction than I took, since it wasn't space oriented, but definitely the pop culture references, I played off of that for my book. I actually, after the first edit of it, I actually had to tone it down a bit on the pop reference stuff. So what's in the book now is a little more tame, but it's still really good. Like, one of the side effects of this human turned robot starting up his colony from scratch is he really likes music. So they loaded up all his favorite music, and he likes to play it. And so as he's growing his civilization, the people around him, he's the only music player on the entire planet. And so they start to really like the old music, but when he disappears and it's gone, and they have all these problems. So a lot of the people in the new civilization, they like it so much, they actually name a lot of their children after famous musicians.
Oh, that's cool.
Earth. So yeah,
I like that. I know I always like good pop culture references. which was why Ready Player One and Ready Player Two were very entertaining.
Growing up, Matt, what was your favorite book or book series?
Oh boy.
I know. I threw that random. That was like a random.
That's a hard ball because I don't know how I would answer that either.
Yeah, so it definitely depends on the age. So like, towards late middle school, high school, that would have definitely been like Lord of the Rings and that sort of stuff.
Excellent.
Definitely into the fantasy stuff. Before that, when I was younger, like early middle school, there was this book series called Redwall. You guys ever remember that?
No, but I'm writing it down.
It was really interesting. It was basically like a medieval fantasy, but all the characters are mice or rats or animals of some sort. Really great series for kids. I really wish they'd make it into a movie or a series or something. It'd be really good.
So now that you have Seed done, is there any new works that you're currently working on or have any ideas floating around?
Yep. So I've already started on the second book in the series called Sprout. And
that's cute.
It's incredibly slow going because I'm not traveling as much anymore because of the pandemic. And so I just happened to have to do essential travel last week and was on the airplane and got to work on it. But I'm really hopeful that I can get it done within about a year or so.
Nice. Do you have a set writing process? I feel like every author is a little bit different, and I've never attempted to write a book, so I don't even know like what my process would be like.
Yeah, like I have to say my style was pretty similar to Dennis's in regards to kind of have the basic plot worked out, but as you go, you're filling in the details.
Mm-hmm.
The best way I can explain how writing was for me is if you had to paint a picture, paint like a big picture, but you can only look through like a small paper tube while you're doing it. And so you can't really see the whole thing at once and you forget, oh yeah, I did that over there and I can't do this because that's over there. That was definitely the experience. Is that there's a lot of rework because of trying to recall the bigger picture of it all and all the details.
I feel like that's where I would run into trouble, like especially in a series, like making sure that everything is consistent. I guess that's why you have like beta readers and editors and everything, because I feel like as the story goes on and you're introducing more characters and stuff, it's like.
You ever see that meme that is from Always Sunny in Philadelphia? And he's got the wall and it's got like
and it's the crazy Charlie conspiracy.
Yeah, and it's got I'm like, I feel like that's how I would write. I'd have just a whole bunch of note things and I'd be like, it starts here and then it kind of goes here and then back over here.
You would basically look like an insane person.
Oh yeah. Well, that's how my brain works. So I would imagine that's probably why I don't write.
Yeah, I totally get why George R. R. Martin's taking so long with Winds of Winter, because with all the characters and plot lines and everything, like I get it. I do not fault the guy for taking the time it's just crazy to keep it all straight.
Matt, do you want to do, we call it shameless self-promotion?
Yeah, absolutely. So my book is available on Amazon. So if you go search on Amazon for Matthew, 2 T's, G as in goat, Dick, Matthew G. Dick, it'll be the only one. I'm the only Matthew G. Dick on all of Amazon.
There you go. Way to just corner that market.
Yep. The book's called Seed. There's a picture of an astronaut and a goat on it. Again, only book with a picture of an astronaut and a goat on it, not in all of Amazon.
Love it.
You're crushing it with the niche market. I love it.
Yep. And then I've got my website, matthewgdick.com. There's some more cool stuff on there. I'm doing a blog, before the book blog and an after the book blog. So there's actually a password at the end of the book when you buy it or download it that enters you into this password protected blog section of the website.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so there's some cool stuff behind there. Also some swag on the store with shirts and sweaters and things like that. And then I'm pretty active on Instagram and at Matthew G. Dick on Instagram as well.
Cool.
Awesome.
it's been a really good hobby. Definitely, I wrote the book that I wanted to read. Being a fan of Densey Taylor and Andy Weir, and lots of classic sci-fi books, I definitely baked that in a lot. Um, and I really wanted to make a book that stood up in the modern era in regards to having new scientific ideas that didn't take itself too seriously, had some fun, but didn't have some of the baggage that some of the older sci-fi classics have, particularly when it comes to men and women equality and things like that. Like some of the old sci-fi books are definitely written for 16-year-old boys from the 60s.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't hold up too well nowadays. And so so I think with the book, I definitely tried to have it be inspiring to anybody that wanted to get into STEM, whoever they are. That was really the goal of it.
Very cool.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and being patient while we got our crap together.
It's a work in progress, Matt. We're just...
You'd never know we've been doing this for a year.
Just like hot messes
in a couple
all
months.
The time.
That is very true. One day we will have our shit together and, do things on time.
I doubt it.
No.
A girl can dream.
Yeah.
And keep us posted with the sequel.
With Sprout.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I know, it's a cute name, Sprout. Anyway.
Yep, absolutely.
Our next episode is going to be going up March 4th. It is Constance Verity Saves the World, which is the sequel to The Last Adventure of Constance Verity by A. Lee Martinez. And
who's joining us again.
Yay! Lee is joining us again. So you actually have time. If you have any questions for Lee,
yes,
let us know. And he actually tweeted something the other day where he was like, maybe 2021 will be the year that
I saw that
I go from being like an unknown author to a moderately known author or something. And I was like, this is your year, Lee. You feel it?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm excited.
And with that, we say,
stay lively with your libations.
I almost clinked before I said stay lively with your libations, like a dum-dum.
Oh, you.